I'm going to start decorating for Christmas today. Now, there's often controversy as to when you decorate for Christmas, but live and let live, I say. I have two children with December birthdays, and I host for the holidays, so expecting me to wait to decorate till December is a lot to ask of 1 month. And today I'm starting in the dining room because the big room is still a construction site where I'm doing the bookcases. Last year, the tree in here was full of red tartan and oranges. It was lovely. It was kind of like that traditional Ralph Lauren Christmas you're seeing everywhere this year. But I like to switch it up every year. Do I have a plan for this room? No, not really. It's going to be one of those creative processes. I did, however, find these old table runners from, oh my goodness, these are probably 12 years old at least. Like, wow. But they're gently used, and I think I might use them on the tree as kind of ribbon or swag. So I can't tell you how this is going to turn out. It's going to be an adventure. I will show you some of the tips and tricks I've learned along the way, though. And this week, I'm also going to be making a one dish dinner that is quick, easy, and simple, and perfect for the busy holiday season. So I'm going to hang the garland up here. This is what I did last year. And I think your best friend when you want to hang a garland, especially if it's a little bit heavy, are command hooks. So you want to place the hooks this way so that the hook is facing the wall, and you can then loop your garland around it with some string or some wire and actually hang it from there. And you will need some fairly heavy duty ones. Give that mantle a good clean because it's going to become a lot harder to clean once everything is on top of it. I'm using two garlands, and I do this every year. I find that one just isn't really enough. Last year, I had these staggered, and they kind of swooped down on either side of the mantle, and it was lovely, but I think I want to do something a little bit different this year, and I'm wondering if I can get the same effect with the burgundy table runners, so we'll see. So I'm really liking how romantic this looks. Let's see if I can actually try and match it on the other side. It's a little bit more opulent than I was going for, but I'm kind of digging it. We've gone from a country Christmas to a moody Victorian Christmas really quickly, but I think I'm here for it. I'm going to kind of lean into it, and we'll see how it goes. I might have to redo it. Oh no. No, we'll just see how it goes. So I thought the scale of the picture wasn't quite enough for all of this opulence. So I added these branches on either side to kind of give it some visual weight. I really like how this orange looks hanging against the burgundy, so I think I'm going to add some more all the way down. I absolutely love this. In fact, when I hung the bells in and then walked away to look at it, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I created that. So I'm very happy with it. The oranges were definitely the missing element. Real tree or fake tree? The autism in me wants to say real tree because that is historically correct. For centuries, people brought in evergreens into their homes during midwinter to brighten their spirits. However, As a sensory afflicted person, it's always going to have to be a fake tree for me. Last year was our first year here. We went and we foraged a tree on our own property and we brought it in and decorated it. And it was romantic and very messy. And there were pine needles everywhere. This little thing I have had for 15 years. We got this tree the first Christmas we moved back to the UK, and honestly, I couldn't tell you where it came from, but it has been wonderful. Some tips for an artificial tree if you have one. If you have a multi-tiered tree like this one, and the lights connect on each layer, put a piece of tape or a little bit of paint on those connectors because you will thank yourself next year. I got the tree out of the bag and I saw the tape at the bottom and I was like, oh no. And it did. It took me a good 5 minutes and I had to take the middle part of the tree off in order to find the connecting piece. Tip number 2 is if you're adding lights, turn on the lights. That kind of goes without saying. Another tip of mine is if you have a pre-lit tree and you're adding extra lights, don't weave your lights in and out of the cords of the tree lights, of the pre-lit tree lights. You are just giving yourself a headache for later because when you come to unravel that, you're going to have to weave in and out of everything. And by the time you're taking down the tree, you're already done with Christmas. So your patience aren't going to be the best. Anyway, that's how I do it. There's no real right or wrong way to decorate a Christmas tree, but there you have it. Welcome to the snug. The snug is the most used room in the house, and quite honestly, the 4 of us are mostly in this room together. So it's a small room and it does get cozy. So I don't want to go overboard with the Christmas decorations because I don't want it to become claustrophobic. This is where the kids come to relax at the end of the day, so I don't want it to be completely overstimulating. You'll notice the palette in this room is a very soft green and earth tone browns and soft blues. So it was created to be a very calming space. This room is also quite a bit more country than the dining room, so it's not going to be opulent decorations. In fact, it's probably going to be dried greenery and bows. But it is very cold outside, so I'm going to put the fire on while I do it. Here's a tip if you're using dried flowers in your decor. I like to add some essential oils to the bottom of the vessel. I'm using cinnamon essential oil because it does repel some insects. It also gives the whole room the faint scent of the holidays. And right about now is when I realized I absolutely hated this. So I took myself outside in the rain and gathered some more cedar branches. After doing the wreath last week, this went pretty quickly. And this is a lesson on trusting your instincts because I absolutely loved how this turned out now. It's simple and cozy, but also festive. I have been inside decorating for the past 2 days, so I'm going to take myself for a walk today. It is bitterly cold outside, but absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to prep a 1-dish dinner. I'm going to put it in the fridge, and then I'm going to go about my day. There are endless combinations to 1-dish dinners, but here's how I break it down. You basically need 3 things. You need a starch, so potatoes, rice, or pasta. You need a protein. Any protein will do, including a vegetarian one. And then you need some vegetables. If your starch is either rice or pasta, you're going to need some sort of sauce to cook that starch when it's in the oven. If it's potatoes, a little bit less so. This is a great way to use up whatever veg you have. I'm going to put a layer of onions, and then I'm going to put the potatoes on top of that. Then I am going to put a layer of veg. Today I'm going to use chicken breast, and I'm going to put the chicken breast on top, season it, add some olive oil, cover it in foil, and then I'm going to put it in the fridge and go about my business. And then when everybody's home, I will put it in the oven, and it will need about 45 minutes to cook. And then I'm going to take the foil off the last 5 minutes just to let everything get all nice and crispy on top. So I am not going to put this in the fridge with water. I'm going to add probably about half a cup of water before I put it in the oven. That way I don't have to worry about it spilling in the fridge and putting chicken juice everywhere. What a lovely walk. I can't believe I saw an otter. How cool is that? Well, the house is officially wearing its winter best, or at least the parts that I actually got to. Decorating always feels a bit like creative problem solving for me. It's my chance to move things around, to experiment, and to convince myself that I actually do have a vision, even if that vision tends to change often. But that's the fun of it, isn't it? It doesn't have to be perfect, it just needs to feel like home. You know, the dining room ended up very elegant, and the snug is very kind of rustic and country, but strangely, that is a perfect depiction of my personality. My husband has this lovely little pet phrase for me and the children where he calls us fancy but feral, and that is so true. And each room in this house should get its own version of Christmas because there's a different mood in each room because we use each room differently. And I think decorating it that way kind of honors the legacy of the house and these spaces that have been used for centuries. And I think the best part is that decorating is one of those few times where my brain completely calms down because it does become a creative flow and a creative process. And if something's wrong, you just move it. And it's not a wonky garland, it's rustic. I think Christmas is actually one of those few times where the chaos kind of adds to the atmosphere. You know what I mean? So whether you're fully decorated or you're going at it slowly, or you're just holding off and resisting the siren song of the boxes in the loft, remember your home doesn't have to look like a catalog. A joyful home is a home that's used and a home that's lived in. And if you find yourself overwhelmed, just remember you need to rest, you need to sleep, and you need to nourish yourself. And an easy one dish dinner is a great way to do that. It takes 5 minutes of preparation. Remember, all you need is a starch, a protein, and some vegetables. Endless combinations. So with that, I hope you're all doing well. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. And go drink some water.